Where do people get their news? Years ago, it used to be virtually most people would get their news from the newspaper or television. And that's where campaigns would focus how they get their message out. Well, it's changed significantly with the advent of social media. Television, people that pay attention to politics and make their decisions on political candidates, you will see 58% of them get their news from television. And this is obviously 24-hour news cycle of television. With CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, and those types of channels, they can get a constant supply of news 24 hours a day. The next number, around 38% of people get their news, so to speak, online. Whether they go to a CNN website, whether they go to a Fox News website, whether they go to the Drudge Report, whether they go to Facebook or Twitter, whatnot, they go online and find different news that generally, the key with this is people go where they get information that is similar to theirs. I wouldn't generally go to the Huffington Post. That's more of a left-leaning news site. I would typically go to another site that has more balanced news content. The next area of media would be radio. 24% of folks get their news from radio. Talk radio, Rush Limbaugh, we have Sean Hannity, Hugh Hewitt, a lot of those shows, especially for those Republicans, those on the right. Talk news radio programs really drive a lot of the news, and we try to get the candidate on these shows as often as possible because the people that listen to these shows share their views and values and want to be constantly fed. In addition to that, when people listen to these talk radio shows, and your candidate's on there, or maybe Ron will be on there, or I will be, it reinforces a message with someone who goes to the grocery store and shares that information with their friends and neighbors. The next is newspaper. It used to be the dominant source of media. Now it's under 20% of people get their news from newspaper, but it's still critical. Each and every one of these are critical pieces of feeding media content. The next is markets. When we look at national versus local. And nationally, here's the way it works. As Mark had mentioned, you try to get as much earned media as you can. My job and Ron's job in the communications is to get earned media, which is free. There are other folks that are out there that do paid media that put ads on the air. Donald Trump, with his ability to charm the media, received over $2 billion worth of free earned media. How did he do that? A lot of it is just by, as Mark mentioned, his plane would fly in, live coverage of the plane. He does a speech, live coverage of the speech. His plane flies out, live coverage of the plane. There were days where Ted would be at an event speaking to actual people, like in a room like this, speaking with actual people, and wouldn't get covered. And there would be a Donald Trump event. He's not at the event. And they would show just shots of the podium empty. Oh, Donald Trump will be here shortly. Stand by. And that's how you get $2 billion worth of free earned media. And typically, there's just nothing you can do about that. That's just the way it is. He would often also have the ability to call in on these morning shows and do, as they call, a phoner. Whereas, we could oftentimes, trying to get on these shows, we could fly Ted to New York City and have him sit in Bill O'Reilly's lap and would have a difficult time getting him on shows at times. But that's the difference in presidential candidates who are running for office that are politicians or elected officials or doing this for all the right reasons, and someone who is a reality television star. And the bottom line is ratings drive a lot of the news content. And if they know more people will watch any coverage of Donald Trump, he's going to get more airtime. And that's the reality of it.